welcome to the inaugural episode of the very first episode of the Smelly Cat Podcast, the only podcast that stars us two smelly cats. Wow, this sure did start off pretty fucking stupid, didn't it? If you're new here, which is everyone who's watching this is new here, this is the first episode. I am Jen. You may know me from the wildly successful YouTube series, fuck, I forgot it, Fundie Fridays, where I talk about different aspects of Christian fundamentalism while I do my makeup. And I am Gwen. This is Gwen. She is my best friend. We met when we were 9 years old, and we never stopped, despite what the haters will tell you. The haters being me and my diary. And we decided to start a podcast because everybody was asking for one. And you know what? You guys are always asking.
And we're two guys with opinions.
Pretty much.
Alright?
This is a podcast all about how women are whores and men are truly the alpha. And they like to... You know what? Side tangent. Okay. While we're podcasting.
Alright.
Are you aware of the Omegaverse?
I don't think so. You know what Fresh and Fit is, right?
No.
That is the Women Are Whores podcast.
Okay, well the Omegaverse is not...
Is that, it's like Sigma males or something? Is that what that is?
No!
What is it? What is it?
It's a... Damn it!
What?
It's an entire universe of fiction where wolves have sex with humans, and there are omegas and alphas, and they have like, they rut, and they have like...
Oh! What does that mean?
Funny you should ask. Well, anyways, I just thought that was funny because of all these alpha males calling themselves that, and I was like, it's funny because you guys are like talking about sex with wolves, but I promise we'll get to that, okay? I promise. We decided to start a podcast because everybody was asking for me to start one with James, and I swear, guys, you think you want to hear more from him, and you don't, okay?
He has a lot going on.
He's got a lot going on. And Gwen is really funny and smart, and, I mean, you'll get to know her, but we're pretty much... Not anymore. We have our own personalities now, but we used to be, like, what's it?
Down to the core, we're pretty much the same person.
Yeah, just slightly different fonts. I'm in bold. Gwen's in italic.
Yeah.
But, yes, we will be talking about, on this podcast, every episode I'd like to talk a little bit about the history of our friendship because we've been friends for 19 years. Next year we'll probably do something big and special for our 20th anniversary. We'd like to tell a little bit of, like, a segment of our friendship every episode because it is really funny because we were both and still are very awkward people. So we have lots of funny stories. We certainly were not cool. And we have lots of interesting life stories to talk about. As well as we'll talk about current events. You know, I gotta get the clickbait in there. Maybe we'll do some reactions. We'll do some crafts. We might do some vlog.
It's a variety show.
Variety show, yes. What I'd really like to get this across in the first 5 minutes. This show is all a ruse. This is all a cleverly orchestrated thing to try and get to be friends with Brittany Broski, Sarah Shower, and most importantly, Trixie Mattel. I'm coming for you.
Also, Hassan, let me fuck. Ethan and Hila, please adopt me.
Trixie, my boyfriend slash fiance is bisexual, please.
Whoa.
Anything you want. As long as I get in that house and let me touch some Barbies.
Yeah. Trixie, I have a pregnant Barbie. Do you want a pregnant Barbie?
Oh my god, can you imagine?
That would be amazing.
I feel like Katya would love that.
Oh my god,
she would like dismember the fucking...
Yeah.
So first off, the Smelly Cat Podcast.
That's a hefty phone.
Yeah, it's from Casetify. Casetify.com/Fundie Fridays.
Hey, we're not sponsored yet.
We're called the Smelly Cats because when we were 9 or 10, we had a little band, and we called ourselves the Smelly Cats, named after the episode of Friends where Phoebe sings the song Smelly Cat. We had a logo for our band that was ripped off of Emily the Strange. Yep. And we did write a couple songs.
Elder emos, you know.
I think just if people know that, it's time for a night cream.
Oh, yeah.
You need to start, what's it called? Sludging? That's not right. Slicking?
Sliming?
No, I think slicking is an Omegaverse thing. Slugging! It's where you...
Snail trail.
It's where you rub yourself in Vaseline every night.
Reminds me of that, Always Sunny episode.
I just want to be pure. God, what are we gonna do about this?
I played keyboard and Gwen played guitar, and it was a lot of,
yelling?
How many of you are familiar with the episode of Family Guy where where Lois and Peter think they're playing music on acid and they're just like screaming?
That's how it, yeah.
We grew up in the 2000s, and 90s and 2000s, whatever. I want my cred. If I have to turn 30, you guys have to hear about it.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have lots of footage. But eventually I would like to bring in, because I'm a hoarder, I come from a long tradition of hoarding, and I have like all the songbooks from our band, and I have like scrapbooks that I've made, and we used to make each other little zines.
Oh, bitch, I got I have both Scheibels. That's the shitty Bible. It was our version.
Yeah, we made up a religion.
It was a rock and roll religion.
Mm-hmm.
It was very cringe. And I'd love to share it with all of you.
Yeah,
eventually.
So not just one, but 2 Scheibels.
Okay.
We got our diaries. Maybe we'll read some of those. There's a lot of childhood trauma in there.
I'm not sure if I have the OG, the one where I thought I was a horse. All right.
Your original diary?
Yeah.
That's something I always worried about as a kid, because I've just always been anxious. I'm like, one day, my diary's gonna be in a landfill, and somebody's gonna read it, and they're gonna know that I masturbated when I was 8.
Oh.
That was, oh my god, I remember, that used to be my biggest secret of life. I remember.
Wow. Those were simpler times back then.
Well, I remember going to like the tippy top of the slide tower.
Okay.
And we were like telling our secrets. I can't remember what theirs were.
Oh no.
But I was like, I have sex with myself. And they were like, gooped, gagged, shocked.
Oh my god.
I thought I had invented something. I was like, have you heard about this, guys? You can actually,
Alright guys, I think I may have just found a side hustle that has huge potential to earn money and nobody's doing it.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I guess I was I didn't talk about anything at all.
But I'm learning that maybe that's normal. Maybe I overshared.
Well, or maybe I was repressed. Who knows? We were both extremely awkward and did not have parental supervision.
Latchkey kids.
Yeah.
So we met. Gwen, you're not from here.
I'm not from around these parts. I'm from Escanaba, Michigan originally, and
that's not the accent. It's the opposite.
It's not.
All right.
I'm from Escanaba, Michigan, though.
So Gwen used to be from the North,
Yeah.
And we had a radio show as children. I recorded it on my karaoke machine,
which you will
we have
hear parts
with
of
us today.
Yeah.
And on it you can tell, like, it's so cool how language develops and accents and stuff, because when I first met Gwen, I had the fucking Uber accent because of you. So on the tape you literally can't tell the difference.
Yeah, it's
and
weird.
like we get like that now when we talk to each other. Our voices start to like morph, and like James will tell me, he'll be like, you guys sound super fucking deep. Like, when me and you were together, it's like,
it's literally always been like that. Dude.
I wonder if that's got to be some sort of like age regression, but like in a good way.
Maybe. Is it?
Maybe we feel safe. I don't know. I think all humans do that. Yeah, because now that you notice it, you'll not be able to turn it off. But like, you still say bag sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
Bagel.
I still do that shit. Root beer apparently is weird.
Is Oot and a Boot from?
Oot and a Boot is like a Canadian thing.
Well, where you're from in Michigan was so Upper Michigan is like its own fucking world. It's not.
Oh yeah, I used to say pop. I don't do that anymore.
Do we say is it soda in the Midwest?
Soda. I say sody pop, usually.
Sody pop.
Give me a sody pop or a root beer.
Pasties.
Yeah.
So that's candy or cookies or something, right?
Fuck no. They're like a meat pie. Yeah.
Well, when you guys were talking about them when we were little, I literally was like, I thought, because I was overly sexualized, I thought you were talking about fucking nipple pasties.
Yeah, I know.
And of course, your mom was like, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
This is the first episode. We cannot.
We're not going to trauma dump yet.
Not yet. So Gwen came in here in like 3rd grade. We officially became friends in 4th grade. We had the same teacher, and we were 2 of 4 extremely tall, adult-sized children. So we all hit puberty and were very tall for our ages, and we stood out like a sore thumb. Anyway, there were a bunch of tall bitches. Yeah. Everybody eventually caught up, but we were literally in 4th grade. I started my period when I was 8 years old. I think there's a whole movement of millennials and younger and older trying to reclaim their childhood. Mm-hmm. But I feel like maybe
you have an inner child and you need to...
I think a lot about JoJo Siwa talking about how people tell her she needs to grow up, but she's like, well, now she's 18, but she's like, I'm only 16.
JoJo Siwa is only 18 years old?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
She just turned 18, and she was like, people are telling me to grow up, why can't I do bows and little girly stuff? 16 is still a child. Well, I wonder if, like, we were pressured to grow up or, like, act more mature because we were physically the size of adults. Even though, like, I watch our tapes when we're like 12 and 13, we're still playing with
Jennifer,
Barbies.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
You're about to blow my mind.
We were forced to grow up because we had to take care of ourselves. Wah, wah, wah.
But we were also big.
We were very... aesthetically, we were just big, awkward children.
Well, anyway, we had each other.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, little did we know. Like, we both looked stupid, but little did we know. We also had the same trauma, pretty much.
Similar, yeah.
Similar
then
trauma.
we trauma bonded together.
Yeah,
it's great.
I found X-Men, you know.
Oh, yeah. So 4th grade, we started hanging out on the swings. And we would hang out because the popular, thing everybody was obsessed with in 4th grade was Foursquare, which is
all the cool kids played it, and you had to have friends. So,
and there was 8. It was 2 ends. They really tried to separate us. It was weird. They had the 2 ends of the playground that was for 3rd grade classes A through D, and then D through whatever. Remember? And then they'd have
kind of
on each side, and then in the middle was the demarcation zone of fucking Foursquare.
I think so, yeah.
Because there was teams, because we got split up the next year because we talked too much.
Oh my god, yeah.
So we weren't on the same team, and now look, they try to keep us apart. Now look at us. Yeah, that's right.
God, I have a very vivid memory of me waiting out in the hallway, waiting for Dare to be over because I didn't go to Dare, and that was the only time I saw you.
Okay,
after we got split
Dare.
up.
I didn't want to be in Dare. So I did have an obsession with drugs as a child. But it's because of media that I was watching. I remember getting.
And we
in
got
trouble
into
all the time.
punk really early.
Yeah, all that shit. So it's I was just curious about it. I didn't.
That's what euphoria is now. Don't show your children.
Yeah, I didn't start doing any drugs until I was 17. So it's it was fine. But anyway, we were obsessed with drugs. So and now I think it's 100% punk rock that we didn't do Dare. But I can understand why my teacher took me aside and asked me if there was problems at home. Because we're the only 2.
Yeah.
We're not even in the same class. And these 2 students managed to both be anti-Dare. It was weird. But anyway, so I got to sit out and read a book. Which now I'm I think it would have been funny to go to Dare and I would have had a t-shirt and I could have made fun of that.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. But I don't know. Dare's fucked up, so I'm glad we didn't go. Yeah. It just was funny. I was we had the right idea but the wrong execution because we were very much anti-establishment and fuck the man, but we didn't quite understand
We didn't, yeah. We knew surface level.
But I do think our school was fucked up.
Oh, dude, yeah, no. That was weird. That was a weird school.
The tension was we had to walk on the 3rd tile specifically.
3rd tile.
Couldn't touch the wall. They would be if you're just standing around, why don't you clean off some skid marks on the floor or whatever. I remember they'd be if you're in the gym and you see a mark on the floor, take your shoe and rub it off.
Yeah. And then we had this thing, it was almost a public shaming thing. Because we had this thing called the blue ribbon.
It was baby's first public shaming.
Dude, it was rough, man. And then okay, so if you acted up or whatever, you took down the blue ribbon, and that meant you couldn't go on the next field trip. And you had to take down the blue ribbon in front of fucking everybody.
The whole class, and then at the end, they had a fucking announcement at the end of every single day.
It was so fucked up.
And so apparently the standing population of the school.
It's the worst thing that you could do to a kid.
Psychologically
publicly shame
you know
a
what?
child.
I'm tired of this fucking millennial slander because we were the we were the guinea pigs for so much weird punishment and academic shit. Mm-hmm. Strategies that they were trying out, new ways of teaching, and it was obviously didn't fucking work. It's how I always see people being defending millennials, being you call us the participation trophy generation, but you were the ones that gave us the participation trophies. We didn't ask for that shit. We weren't even allowed to play regular basketball. Do you remember? Or horse or any of the games where you get points because it was gonna upset people and they would have fights. That was not the kid's idea. An 8-year-old did not be yeah, we need to have conflict resolution and we need to we need to be a fight-free and respectful school. No fucking 8-year-old came up with that.
Yeah.
God, you know what? I'm even more mad about it. I am righteously.
Yeah. Well, okay. What was up with? Was it every month or every week we had a different thing that we had to show perseverance or
the character traits, which I think is so funny because character traits are a huge thing in Bill Gothard, in Gothardism.
Well,
not that it might be related.
I mean, fuck, dude. It's
Christianity
fucking mid-Missouri
and the Bible Belt and with purity culture. It might as well be. Mm-hmm. We have similar purity culture trauma to a lot of evangelicals.
I remember one day I had to take down the blue ribbon and I was devastated. And so I started crying, and my teacher took me out into the hallway, and I fucking lied to her because I was trying to talk my way out of it. I was like, please don't fucking make me take down the blue ribbon. It's the worst thing that could ever possibly happen to a human being. And so I was like, I'm a good kid. I'm a Christian. And she was like, well, that's all well and good, but you were still an asshole. And
she's probably like, you were disrespectful at recess.
Now this bitch was probably just like, shut up, just like what? You know, that excuse did not work. You know what's crazy if you really think about it, man? That's what all the Christians do, is just use that as an excuse to do fucked up shit, man.
Well, I think all religion is just like the people, man. They're just sheep.
They're just sheep, man. Get good, dude. Do some DMT and really open your mind.
DC police find 5 fetuses in the home of anti-abortion activists. Yes, happened like yesterday.
What?
Here's the news we were going to cover.
This happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
A federal magistrate judge alluded to news coverage that 5 fetuses were found in the home of Lauren Handy, but ordered she remain free with conditions. Can't imagine why. Monday until trial for conspiracy against rights and abortion clinic access obstruction. Handy was one of 9 charged on March 30th with federal civil rights offenses for an October 2020 incident in which she and 8 other activists against abortion rights allegedly barged into the clinic, blocked the doors. Okay. Handy made an appointment under a fake name. Handy, I don't like that that's her name. Handy hasn't been charged in connection. Handy hasn't been charged in connection with the fetuses. Benedict said, there doesn't appear to be anything criminal in nature right now about that, except for how they got into this house. So we're continuing to look at that. So she stole them. She made, yeah.
Maybe she's trying to maybe it's some crazy Bethel type shit, and she's trying to resurrect the fetuses.
Or I wonder, there's really no reason besides that or photography, but also we already have those pictures.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That kind of reminds me of the story of this what is it? Embalmer, a funeral guy who got caught. He had a bunch of corpses in his house that were rotting and stuff. And anyway, long story short, he actually had lead poisoning and was going crazy. So it's he didn't mean to do that, but whatever.
Do you want to talk about your neck tat?
Oh, it's my rabbit's name, Bigwig. And I love him very much. He's my baby boy. And if you ever get a neck tattoo, fucking buckle up, because it doesn't feel good.
Would you like to talk more about your career?
Oh, career. I am a tattoo artist. It's awesome. It's an honor to do. I feel pretty cool about it.
How long have you been tattooing?
Oh, collectively I've been tattooing for about 8 years. I
feel 10 years.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I feel I've been saying 8 years for 3 years now.
Well, you were 18.
I was 18, yeah. I, as soon as high school was over, I didn't graduate high school, and I wanted to do something in art, and I didn't have money for art school, also because, art school is kind of I'm not going to spend money on it. Yeah, and it's more of a networking thing. Anyway, so I went directly to a tattoo shop, and got an apprenticeship, and I worked there for 4 years, licensed, and then I had a fucking mental breakdown, and I stopped tattooing for 2 years maybe? 1 or 2 years.
I don't remember, yeah.
And then I had a friend hit me up, and she was like, hey, I know that you have a bunch of tattoo equipment and know vaguely how to do tattoos. I don't care if they look like shit, will you tattoo me? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then that started my journey back into tattooing. And then I tattooed at my house for a little bit. And then just last year I got my license again. I had to renew it. And now I'm working at a very nice shop. And I love it. And I love the people that I work with. And I'm very excited about it. Big things coming up, man. Big things. It's a pretty big deal. So we have, it's huge. It's a gigantic tattoo shop, and it has a record store in there. We got a cafe attached to it, and it's just filled with really cool, non-scary or threatening tattoo artists, which is very important to me. So
That's what I feel. I'm seeing a lot of feminine presenting tattoo artists nowadays. I think this new generation.
Femme, queer, it's fucking awesome.
It's no longer just a boys game and fucking shitty white dudes that only do I want to say Ed Hardy. What is it based off of? Sailor Johnny or whatever?
Sailor Jerry. So Ed Hardy and Sailor Jerry, for the record, are incredible.
Okay. No disrespect.
It sucks because Ed Hardy did so much for tattooing.
So he was an actual artist. I thought he just made shirts.
He was an actual tattoo artist. He was a big fucking deal. He invested in a lot of other artists too, and just helped develop different styles and shit. He's a huge fucking deal. And if any of you are interested in that, actually do your research about him, because he is not just some guy who made ugly t-shirts in 2006. So
see, that's misinformation I had. Well, what I'm saying is for a lot of people, it's scary to go to tattoo shops or to get piercings or whatever.
It's terrifying.
Me and you have gotten our fucking ears pierced at Claire's because we didn't want to deal with the weird guys at the shop, and then we regretted because those piercings didn't heal.
I tried to pierce your nose too.
Gwen tried to yeah, that's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no piercers. There's a million tattoo artists. There's nobody's
everybody
wants to get out and pierce.
It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
Everybody's trying to be a fucking tattoo artist. Please, for the love of God, learn piercing. Piercing is cool too. It's come on.
Please. We want some things pierced.
Yeah, I know tattooing is the coolest thing ever, but piercing is cool too.
Gwen's done 99% of my tattoos. One I got
good and bad.
A couple of them from an apprentice you had at the last shop.
Okay.
Well, anyway, and then the tattoo of my cousin's initials when he died. For the most part, Gwen will do most of them. We did meet some cool tattoo people. The Trixie and Katja show. Maybe we'll hang out with them.
Yeah, honestly, they put out some real nice work.
But yeah, you're finally being able to get shit done, because that's the irony of being a tattoo artist, is that you can't. There's spots on yourself that you can't tattoo.
Yeah, I know. Well, now I actually work with artists who are good. So.
Yeah, I can imagine your last shop. I'll give you a free tattoo.
No, I literally the only. I'm just gonna mask off, dude. The only tattoo that I got from the last shop that I work at is this anxious tattoo, because that's all I thought that he was capable of doing.
You trusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was I want a tattoo, and I want this, and I can't do it myself, so let's cross our fingers and fucking get it from that guy.
Well, if you are in the Missouri area, do not hesitate to hit up Gwen for a tattoo. If you know, you know. It's relatively easy to find, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to dox us. But if you're in Missouri, Gwen will tat you up, and she's very talented and very nice.
Or if any tattoo artists are watching this right now and want a guest artist at some point, hit me up, because I want to get the fuck out of Missouri for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a cool thing you get to do with your art, is you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Omegaverse, also known as Alpha Beta Omega, ABO, is a subgenre of speculative erotic fiction, and originally a subgenre of erotic / fan fiction. I know you know what that is, Gwen.
I can't remember.
You remember what slash is?
Is that Harry Potter?
No, that's guy on guy sex fiction. Oh, it's apparently it's same sex.
Yeah.
Stories in the genre are premised on societies wherein humans are divided into a dominance hierarchy of dominant alphas, neutral betas, and submissive omegas.
This just sounds like what men think.
I know, isn't that funny? Okay, so Omegaverse fiction typically focuses on wolf or other canid-like behavior in humans, especially as it pertains to sexual intercourse. This includes rutting and heat cycles.
What does that mean? What is that?
It's I'm clicking on it. The rut, Latin meaning to roar, is the mating season of certain animals, which includes ruminants, such as deer, sheep, camels, goats, pronghorns, bison, giraffes. Heat cycles, pheromonal attraction. Every day we stray further from God's light.
We really do.
Penises with knots, aka knotting, set marking, breeding, and pack structures. Male omegas are often advised to become pregnant.
Wait, jeez. Okay, wait. What is that one quote from, was it Steve Buscemi and Spy Kids?
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Some works introduce a caste system where alphas are depicted as the upper class elites, while omegas are at the bottom tier and face discrimination. Omegaverse works are often frequently focused on male-male couples, a subgenre of fan fiction known as slash fiction, though heterosexual Omegaverse works have been produced. People get really serious about it. Like I said, Lindsay Ellis got sued by an Omegaverse author.
Are we gonna fucking get sued?
Shit, I'll fight it. Fight for my right to talk about the Omegaverse.
Talk about the fucking furries.
It's a free country. They're not furries. I don't want anybody in the comments being like, I am a proud Omegaverse writer, and what you've said about my content is very inflammatory.
Yeah.
Inflammatory like those pheromones. I'm sorry. Whatever. It's gross.
Okay, anyways.
I just thought it was funny because whenever guys talk about fucking alphas and shit, I'm like, you guys are projecting, you horny boys. Well, like, when a woman has an actual hobby, like, you ever seen that one where it's like, so they get out and they knit or they do something?
What?
These men with these podcasts.
Oh, cool. All you do is fucking lift. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Shit your pants.
They all have orthorexia.
What does that mean?
Type of eating disorder.
Ortho.
Like orthopedic. I think it means
Dr.
bones.
Schultz.
I don't have a good education either. That's the thing. I graduated, but like...
We ain't going to school in a long time.
My school is not what I would call good.
I've only been to high school and I didn't even graduate.
Yep, I did 1 year of college and then did too many triple C's and...
Fucking
dropped
went
out.
Across the country on a train to see a boy.
Yeah, a white boy with dreads who was addicted to cough syrup.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've also done horrible things, so.
We're both sinners.
Yeah.
Do you remember scarf juggling
Yes.
and cup stacking?
Crisscross applesauce.
I'm so glad they said that one instead of the other phrase we used to say.
Yeah.
Man,
Okay.
society is racist.
Scarf, yes, 100%. Scarf juggling. What was the other thing?
Cup stacking.
Yo-yos. Do you remember that shit?
Yes, I did. I remember getting a yo-yo and having to cut it because it like wouldn't go all the way down. It was like a whole thing.
Oh.
You have to cut your yo-yo to your height. That's what I learned from the yo-yo man.
I forgot about that. I remember I learned how to walk the dog. And that was it. I couldn't figure out anything else.
What a bunch of stupid shit.
So fucking stupid, bro. How much money did those people make? Like,
They either got them for free or they were lied to. Somebody lied to them several times.
Something happened.
Hoops for heart.
Do you remember? What is that?
Hoops for heart. It was jump rope for heart and shit.
Oh my
Hoops for heart was
God.
the basketball one.
Holy shit. I forgot about all of that.
Did you know that TikTok audio where it's like,
This one's for all my baby girls. I see your comments, ladies, and they make me smile. I'm lurking and I'm stalking when you least expect it.
if you didn't know, James proposed to me. That was great. Gwen was there. She had to help.
Oh my God. So, yeah, okay, let me tell my side of the story here. So, James hit me up like a few months ago, trying to like get me to like figure out a way to propose to Jennifer. And anyway, fast forward, we kind of like hastily put this together and it didn't really go perfectly. So I took Jennifer out to like Ulta, you know, to like do makeup shit. James was setting up everything, and then so we went to Ulta and we were just like, yeah, let's just go back home.
James told me later, because so Gwen was doing her laundry at our house, and he said he had to take your clothes out to wash the shirt that he wanted to wear when he was gonna fucking do it. Oh yeah, and I was like, oh James, can you take us to Ulta? That's what it was.
Bitch. Yeah, this bitch. James wanted me to record him proposing to Jennifer, and so I had to. Okay,
we purposefully did not do drugs before this. We're just like this.
We're just like this. Well, many years of drug use have
We're just perma-fried.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100 fucking %. Anyways, don't let me get into that shit. So we get back home and James like very hastily is like, get your phone out, like record this. And James was like, hey, I got my new keyboard or whatever. I got my new keyboard, like you should check this out or whatever. And so I like follow them in, I record him proposing to Jennifer, and it was very, very cute. And then they started hugging and crying, and I was like, I'm gonna get out of here. And so like I waited. Okay, keep in mind, I am also doing my laundry at Jennifer's house. This is how it all went down for me, okay?
Yeah, what's your side of the story?
I'm doing laundry at Jennifer's house. So I'm like waiting for them to come out. They're gonna have their nice moment, whatever, like, cool. And so like, I see that the dryer is still going, and so I'm like waiting, and then finally they come out, and I'm like, you know, like, oh, congratulations, I got about 25 minutes on the dryer still. So we're just like sitting around.
Yeah, I think we smoked or something.
Something.
I got on my phone. Somebody asked me a question. It was you or him, and I was like, oh, I'd say yes to anything today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Because I was so happy, but it made it sound like
It was very cute. I am very happy that Jennifer has James. I think James is a fucking godsend, honestly, so.
Yeah, he may or may not. The place that we're looking at, we want to elope, and I think they have live streaming. Not that I would live stream the wedding.
Do the drone, do the fucking Duggar style, dude.
Oh my god, yeah. But I'd like to give the patrons like a video or something. Give them something special.
Yeah, you know.
Speaking of, we're going to start a Patreon for this podcast. And I want to let you guys know that the money's going to go to Gwen, pretty much, because I get paid enough from Fundie Fridays. And
but then also, like, maybe just the set.
Yeah, eventually the money could be, if we get enough money, we could pay for an actual retail space or, you know, whatever. I'd love to Gwen have her own shop someday.
Dude, yeah, if we like got some, like podcast space mixed in with like my own private tattoo studio, it would be fucking dope. Mm-hmm. That's the dream.
You'd need like 3 rooms. A bathroom, a tattoo space, and then the room that we record in.
Yeah. And then an extra random sink somewhere, because that's...
Yeah, you have sinks for legal reasons.
Yeah. But
that's our dream.
And you can make it possible if you just send us money.
Yeah. Would you call me yesterday Jenneth Copeland?
Yeah. Jenneth Copeland.
Send me your money now.
Tithing or whatever.
Yeah, tithing. 10%. I figured that 5%. This podcast is going to be our most hardcore fans.
It's gonna be a fun time, Letty. I'm so sorry.
Anyways, 19 years we've known each other.
Yeah, a full grown-ass adult who can drive.
Yeah, Gwen had...
Which is my little brother,
I'm an only child, yeah, and then you had a brother born the year we met, so then I always remember his age.
4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Don't look at me!
There's a lot of... like, none of us are close, and yeah, there's a lot of them. I love you. Love all of you. There's not really a relationship there. Anyway.
Oh, the silver play button. That's another thing I need to talk about.
Oh, finally.
So YouTube does not care about its creators. They were supposed to send you a notification if you get 100,000, and then you follow this notification. It has a code. You enter the code in the website, you get your plaque. I never received my notification when I hit 100,000, and I thought it was my fault. I was like, oh, did I... Goddamn.
She's having a tough time right now.
Did I, like, have a copyright strike? Did I do something wrong? And then it was...
Is Jennifer hiccuping ASMR?
It was Abby Shapiro. I'm gonna keep this.
What is it, boy?
Please. You see if I can like force it out.
Did it work?
Maybe I had opening.
Spooky. Alright.
Anyway, Abby Shapiro got her fucking play button.
Her tits were fake. Guys, I am so upset about that.
That famous photo, I'll put it on the screen right now.
I have been trying to tell people.
This is Photoshopped.
It is Photoshopped.
It was fake. I knew it. You know that one?
No.
Damn it. TikTok.
I knew it was fake. I knew it.
We tried to record this yesterday, but my friend came over to get a tattoo, and it took a very long time. So this is the 3rd time trying to record this.
Gwen's mom got married, and that forced Gwen to move. Now let's talk about this wedding.
Okay, I guess... I guess all you need to know, really.
Gwen was a child and did not pick anything that had to do with this wedding, I promise.
I did not have consent.
No.
Yeah, I think I was like, fuck, how old was I? Like 15?
12!
Really?
You moved in 6th grade.
Yeah, I don't know, 12 to 15, I feel like, whatever.
What were you gonna say? No, Mom, I don't want to wear a fucking, Kimono, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Anyway.
so their fucking wedding was Asian themed, just in general, I guess. And, like, she made everybody wear bastardized versions of kimonos, and there was, like, a shitty bamboo-themed cake.
Yeah, and they had bamboo as, like, the gifts.
You got little bamboos for gifts and little fortune cookies. My family has a history of desperately wanting to not be white. And
but also being racist. That's like the dichotomy of like white supremacy.
Right. It's like how ask any white person and they're gonna tell you, oh well, I'm actually part Cherokee. So it's like, which
your grandma?
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what? Maybe
for the record, no. For the record, I love my grandma. Love you, Graham. But goddamn, we're white, okay?
She like cosplay.
We're like Irish white, dude.
Fully trying to be a Native American.
Like, so, yeah, long story short, my grandma thinks she's Native American and lives on the res, and my aunt is mixed. So she actually,
has a reason to be there.
My grandma, on the other hand, is just kind of vibing.
She's Mark.
I guess. She's Mark. She is Mark. And that's just very.
And your grandpa was a part of the Jesus Freaks or whatever?
Jesus People USA?
Yeah, I need to do an episode about them.
Yeah, my grandma and grandpa, when they were together, they were fucking weird Jesus hippies.
Yeah, so I don't have any religious
but also
trauma.
Horrible parents, so.
But, well, that goes to...
That's the lineage of that.
I don't have any religious trauma, but you have a...
I have slight religious trauma, yeah. One of these days, we could get my friend Anthony or Jesse on here, and they, dealt with that, kind of like as young adults, so it's more fresh for them, a lot more involved. For me, my dad was Christian, and the whole entire side of my dad's family was Catholic. He was like the odd one out. So I got Christian and Catholicism shoved down my throat when I was a kid, but then my mom was completely secular. My mom and dad were separated, so I would, go over to his house like every summer. Anyway, and when I did, he, made me read like the children's Bible and constantly threatened me about how I was gonna go to hell, like if I lie, I'm gonna fucking burn in hell with Satan, and would like do.
He did not spare the rod.
He did not spare the rod. Yeah, he loved hitting me. So in the name of Jesus. So yeah, I have stuff like that, but then like I found the internet when I was like 13 probably, and then I found Richard Dawkins.
Oh!
So I turned into a full-on atheist neckbeard and got super fucking angry, listen to Bill Maher and shit. I was like a classic neckbeard.
I'm really glad that there are...
And now I'm like, whatever, organized religion is fucked up and it doesn't need to be in our politics, and churches need to pay taxes. But if you want to comfort yourself about the feeling of death, I totally understand that. And if you need spirituality to do that, then fuck yeah, dude.
I don't know about this new generation, because now they have like proper deconstruction spaces and ex-evangelicals and all that stuff, but like, yeah, I think people our age, that rite of passage, that atheist neckbeard thing is like something that we all go through. Mm-hmm. And I was just atheist from the get-go, but even I went through all that shit, and all those fucking, those shitty neckbeard atheists, like fucking Mr. Atheist, who tried to steal the fucking Fundie Fridays name.
They take advantage of like your anger.
I'm breaking my silence now. And like all those other, like Sargon of Akkad and all those fucking other assholes, like...
Didn't Sargon, like...
He tried to come for fucking Commenticate. Did you see the longest video?
Oh, recently?
It's so funny.
Oh, never mind. Honestly, guys, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Fuck that guy.
He was... Oh, yeah, he tried to run for fucking Parliament, and obviously nobody liked him. He's British, if you didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
honestly, I was like, what the fuck is
He was
Parliament?
a huge person during Gamergate, and I know that, yeah, he hates feminism and all that stuff.
Just found out that Kate Bush actually isn't a Tory for the longest time. That was like a weird meme that was going around, and she's actually not, which is great, because she is amazing.
He said, because he was running against this lady who's Jess Phillips, and she said that she got a lot of rape threats, and he said, I wouldn't even rape you. Hashtag anti-rape threats, hashtag feminism is cancer. Internet comment etiquette with Eric, one of my biggest, comedy inspirations.
Big Money
Salvia. He's friends with Ethan and Hila, so it's like kind of funny that they're and sometimes they like cross over, and
it's all.
I used to be super into H3 with Gwen back in like 2015
to 2014. We're
was
like
it?
the OGs, yeah.
Yeah, when it was just short little like comedy
Pure vanilla
edits and shit. Yeah.
Aerate it, warm it up, driving up that top note, that cream. Pure vanilla.
Yeah.
And then you kept going, and I kind of branched off. But I follow Salvia.
I'm always watching, Ethan. Always watching.
I'm stalking and watching.
Yeah.
So it was funny when they collab, because I'll be like, oh, I haven't watched in 3 years. How's Ethan doing? You're like, well, I can tell you what's happened in the last.
Dude, he actually he just posted on his Insta story that he was in the hospital because he's super sick.
Goddamn.
It's fucked up. And he just had a kid.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Anyway.
So internet atheists, there's a lot of them. I wouldn't trust any of them that aren't me, to be quite frank. Because a lot of these internet atheists, when they come from a evangelical background, forget about it. You just did what now?
I smelled it.
How did it smell?
How I figured it would smell. Plastic. Metal.
They haven't deconstructed like racism and misogyny, so I wouldn't even fucking bother listening to them. They're not worth it. And just like Bill Maher, he's a fucking Islamophobe, and all the other
Bill
folks.
Maher is a.
But that's all we had back then.
Yeah. Oh,
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
We're the new fucking face of this shit, I think. And it's just like, a lot of people come to me for deconstruction content, and like James is always trying to tell me like what you're doing is important and it's very helpful.
It is. It's activism, honestly.
But I maybe it's imposter syndrome, or maybe I don't understand what I'm doing. I always struggle with being like, what have I done that's so important?
It is imposter syndrome. I fucking experience it. I feel like any creative person experiences that, because if you are always getting praise and you already struggle with like self-confidence just in your core, you know, like you're gonna have moments where you're just like, I'm a fucking phony, like I'm just fucking doing this for
I feel like a big phony.
It's like, that's not true. No, the fact of the matter is, like, you are, in my opinion, you are doing a form of activism, because you are informing people of all of these different fucking fucked up people.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that some of this stuff is happening as we speak. Like, and these people are deeply intertwined with America's political system, with our laws. Like, this shit's really important just on that end. And if people can watch your videos and like get inspired to, just be like, oh, I am in a fucked up situation.
Thank you for uplifting me there. Well, the reason why I say that is because I feel like maybe it's through comedy, or like just reassuring people that what they went through is crazy and that they're not like...
Yeah.
Because I think that's all I could do, because I don't have, like, I never went to church. I can't be like, I remember this sermon really fucked me up because I don't remember any sermons. But I feel like, I guess... So, I appreciate when people thank me for helping them through their deconstruction, even though I personally don't know how I did it, but I'm glad that I helped you. Yeah, like, but I'm saying, like...
I mean, I feel like, you know, maybe, like, some of you, like, don't put it all on Jennifer, because, like, she is... like very well informed, but like she doesn't know the experience, and so if you can find somebody who you can like relate to on that level, I think that's super important to talk that out with somebody who like has experienced that. But Jennifer, I mean, you know, also watch her shit, because it just informs you of like crazy shit. So
yeah, I think that's a good idea. Don't let me be your only resource for when you're deconstructing. Use other people too, but I'm here to make you laugh.
Yeah.
This is like a recent thing, and not to toot my own horn, but a lot of the new deconstruction and ex-evangelical and ex-Fundie.
Why is evangelical so hard to fucking say? Why did they?
Well, I was saying it wrong for like the first year of my channel. I was
evangelical.
I was saying evangelism instead of evangelicalism.
Oh God, it's so long.
And proselytize instead of proselytize.
What is it?
It's actually proselytize.
Proselytize.
There's no T. I know.
To life.
I know. I want to say that.
Prostitutes.
But a lot of these new channels that you're seeing that are ex-Fundie, ex-evangelical, they were inspired by me, and I'm happy to make all sorts of friends and talk to all of you. But check out those channels too, in addition to mine, because I can only
But
help
also,
you
this
so
is
much.
the OG bitch, okay? Don't fucking forget
I am
that.
the OG bitch,
okay?
and I want to let you know that Bailey Sarian said congrats on my engagement too. So
Bailey Sarian.
I will give you the full credit for starting this channel.
I literally, okay, I'm not gonna, like, whatever, but I was watching Bailey Sarian. I was obsessed with Bailey Sarian. This is, alright.
We were living together at the time.
We were living together at the time. We were working at the nursing home. And I remember having the conversation with you because you would, like, update me on Free Ginger stuff constantly. And I had been watching, like, Bailey Sarian, and I was like, dude, you should fucking, like, you need to, like, tell people about this because, like, this is extremely fucked up. Also, so much lore and just like,
Yeah.
you need, yeah, there's
This
already
year-
a community out there, like, it's fucking,
Yeah. And it's
anyway,
really-
Bailey Sarian, please, I love you very much. You know, just please spit in my mouth. I will give you a free tattoo. Ooh, my tooth hurts. That's that mid-Missouri mouth for you.
Eminem. Wait, can't get that close.
What are your favorite M&Ms?
What are my favorite M&Ms?
Mine are the peanut butter ones.
Those are my favorite too.
Fuck yeah, those are good. I had one that was like popcorn flavored, and it tasted like the inside of like a break time or something.
I want to talk about something that I keep saying on TikTok, and I want to know if it's true because it was certainly true in my family.
Okay.
Did you have a dual popcorn and vomit bucket?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Mine at our house specifically was like the novelty popcorn buckets you'd get at the movie theater. So like, so I like threw up in the Toy Story bucket.
We used ice cream, old like ice cream tubs. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The giant.
God, getting that amount of ice cream? Well, do you get that amount?
Well, you know, both of our families were obese.
Were!
And poor. Well, yeah.
So this time in the podcast, since this is the very first one, we don't have any questions to answer. But next time, we would like to answer questions, and eventually, once we get enough followers, we might even do some sort of live chat or something. I would love to be able to like actually hang out with you guys in some sort of way, but this is the first one. So I will give you guys the floor here to please ask us any questions, leave suggestions. So basically, this podcast, we're going to be telling a little bit of the story of our friendship, plus current events, and maybe do like an activity or a reaction or like a question segment in each podcast. Maybe be 45 minutes to an hour, and we're going to have a video version and one for audio. Normally, this would be the time where we'd answer these questions or chat with you all, but you know. So yeah, go ahead and ask us anything. It does not have to be on topic whatsoever. Anything you want. It can be about fundies, it can be about us, it can be about school, it can be just like a general like philosophical question. Give us suggestions, like nothing's really off topic that we won't cover. Just, yeah, open-ended questions. Shit. I mean, if it's, we'll censor it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely ask us any questions you want. Pets, food, I don't know, what do normal people talk about? Movies.
What do you want to know? God, just ask us.
Yeah. Unless you want to hear us talk about the same news cycle shit you've seen cycle over and over again.
That's another thing. Like, what do you want to see? Let us know. Let us know down in the comments. But like seriously, yeah, like you know, we're here to please you.
Basically. I don't know how often these will come out. Maybe once or twice a month.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll
it's just. What are you guys? Too much pressure already.
We're two
Calm
very
down.
chaotic people, so.
You guys always asking shit of us.
I guess we're gonna end on that note.
I guess we're gonna end on that note. Next time, I think I will bring some Smelly Cat artifacts. What do you think?
Yeah, we should.
Alright, so potentially next time we will talk about our radio program we had. It was called Dylan and Natalie Radio, which I'm not going to tell you where that's from. If you know where that's from, then you certainly...
It's a very weird...
You certainly belong listening to this podcast if you know what that's a reference to. Yeah. But we'll tell you next time.
It's very niche, though. Like, if you don't get it, it's fine.
Would like to react to some stuff, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, just tell us what you want. Just fucking tell us what you want.
And we are not above copying off of other people, so go ahead and we'll just do a shot-for-shot remake of the Brittany Broski
We'll
Sarah
do
Shower
like a
podcast.
verbatim, like
Yeah.
like write their script out.
You already know who's going to be who, so it's not even that hard. Yeah, feel free to tag them in the comments.
I'm not entirely sure who I relate to more. I mean, like Sarah.
In
probably,
some ways,
but like Brittany just encompasses this. She's
Gwenifer.
Yeah.
So the concept of Gwenifer, before we go, that's me and Gwen mushed together, obviously. But like, it's if we had a child.
It's our fusion.
Yeah, it's our fusion.
Steven Universe. Yeah. Anyway.
I love you. Please leave down in the comments something.
Love you. Mwah.
Like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to the Patreon whenever we put it up. I don't know if it'll be up by now. I don't know. I don't even know what day this is coming out.
One step at a time, guys.
I don't even know where I am. I don't know what's going on. Bye.
Bye.